That's a beautiful answer.
Yeah. The main thing that we look to do is to allow small companies and up to mid-sized companies, etc., to be able to access the global markets without having a global presence.
For a standard Amazon seller or an online seller, why would you need Payoneer? So Mark, let's say you landed in the Dubai airport and you're in a really cool taxi and somebody asks you what you do for a living. What do you explain your position as part of the Payoneer team here in the UAE?
Yeah, that's a question that genuinely always catches me off guard because I don't have a one-liner for what I do.
That's good.
But the easiest way to describe it is I just help new customers come onto the Payoneer platform and essentially just get the most benefit from our account, because we look after such a variation of different companies, people, entities and we have so many different products that do that, then at the end of the day, they have to get maneuvered in the right way to basically get the most benefit from Payoneer. And that's my job.
That's a beautiful answer.
Yeah.
It is.
Thanks.
Because, and that shows exactly how everyone, the whole Payoneer team, especially I might say everybody that's operating here in the UAE as well as in the Middle East, it's like a big group of people that's looking to support SMEs, especially online sellers. And it's not like, yes, I only do marketing. No, everybody is there to support and help.
For sure, and I think it's when I joined Payoneer, that was exactly what I got from everyone, even from like the highest up people. At the end of the day, you're only as good as your customers, and if you can't deliver on your customers, then your products are pretty much useless. So it's all about what the customers can experience and how good their experience is. So that's what it comes down to.
Perfect. So I do get a lot of people, because we have it on our socials, we have it on our website, the fact that I'm the brand ambassador for Payoneer. A lot of people mistakenly think that Payoneer is like a standard bank.
Yeah.
So how would we explain to anyone that's watching and listening to us today, what is Payoneer exactly?
It's very similar to a bank in terms of what it delivers, and that's why I think it can be quite confusing in terms of the difference. I think the main thing that we look to do is to allow small companies and up to mid-sized companies, etc., to be able to access the global markets without having a global presence. That's really what it boils down to. So being able to do your business internationally without having to be set up in multiple different offices and have people all over the world, you can actually, from a financial standpoint, be able to do business in these countries, receive payments from that. And I think it's much more of a kind of partnership it is with people instead of it just being a product and a function to help companies grow. That's what you want. You want companies to grow on our product and for us to grow with them as well.
Perfect. So for a standard Amazon seller or an online seller, why would you need Payoneer or a Payoneer account?
Well, I think whenever people breach into kind of going onto online seller or going into Amazon, especially Amazon, if you sell in different countries in Amazon, you need to have access to those currency accounts for Amazon to pay you out. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
And if you don't have access to them, then you can't actually sell on those marketplaces. And if you're, say, a company in the UK or in the UAE, and you want to sell in the US, you want to sell in the UK, in Europe, etc., it's very challenging for you to get all these accounts, and it's very time consuming because you have to open up an entity, then open up banking. And banking nowadays, especially post-COVID, is very hard to actually open up these accounts. You have to travel there, you have to sign documents, this, that, and the other. And we can essentially allow companies to be set up in one place, but to sell globally, access all the marketplaces they want to, and be able to get paid from them.
Perfect. So you get a Payoneer account, you get multiple currencies, and you are able to use them while sitting in your office or at home even.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
As simple as that. I'm sure you're aware that a lot of people actually find, obviously opening a Payoneer account is free, which is fantastic, but it's not easy. Sometimes you need and require some additional documentation. Why is it not like anybody can open a Payoneer account and just start well, technically anybody can, but sometimes you find a lot of people saying, "Oh, I've opened a Payoneer account, it still hasn't been verified." What is the process behind that, and is that because Payoneer is really secure and actually makes sure that people who are using the platform, including myself, are safe?
Yeah, I think that's the most thing. I mean, I think if you're a financial company, you have to be regulated.
Yeah,
you can't just be processing any business. And it's not just for protection of Payoneer, it's protection of our customers as well. So we are licensed and regulated all over the world in different major hubs. And because of that, we have to follow stringent rules on doing that. And we have specific KYC standards that have to go into place. And the sheer volume of the number of customers we deal with means that we have to onboard them using our platform, and we have to onboard them digitally, essentially, which is really beneficial. And it can also be, sometimes it can cause delays, etc. Like you're saying, people maybe don't realize we require certain documents, and they log into their system, they don't see those documents there. But what it comes down to is, because we're a regulated business, we want to make sure that we can collect that information off our clients. We are happy with our clients, and we can also do it upfront, so that once you become a Payoneer customer, you can then run your business as seamlessly as possible once things are all set up. And that's a key part of it. If you can front load all of that stuff, then everything else is
perfect. One very important part of Payoneer is that Payoneer has like a MasterCard Payoneer card. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a kind of product of two sides. You've got a physical card, which is available in multiple currencies, and you've got a virtual card. And both of them play different roles. The physical card comes down to your traditional business expenses, travel expenses, and all those kind of things. If you're an international business owner, you have to go certain places, you have to pay for certain things that are related to your company expenses, and you can just use them online as well. And secondly, you've got virtual cards, which are extremely beneficial and extremely popular between our customers just now, because a lot of, let's go back to Amazon sellers or just online sellers in general, they have to go through certain marketing channels to get their product out there and to get their name out there. And they need to have access to cards, and a lot of the time multiple cards, to be able to load them up to their systems. And that's essentially what it boils down to. It's just another feather in the cap in terms of the products that we offer, that businesses that we typically go towards are requiring. I mean, e-commerce has been a part of our business since Payoneer began, so it has to be there to help them.
Before we move on and talk a little bit about the Payoneer checkout, which is kind of new, and I don't think a lot of people have heard about it, so we're going to talk about that. But before that, also Payoneer recently started providing an AED account for anyone that is like because as you know, a lot of people that don't reside in the UAE know that e-commerce in the UAE, and primarily Amazon, very, very, very important and very interesting. So I know we as Amazon Sellers Society, we work with a lot of European-based brands, US-based brands, and they mostly have a very big problem with opening a bank account in the UAE, which is also very, very tough. And the beauty about selling online and on Amazon is that you do not have to actually physically be present. So in the country where you're selling. So Payoneer recently started an AED account. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I think it stems from a lot of our customers in the US, Europe, etc., that want to and see the opportunity in the e-commerce market and Amazon in the Middle East as well. And because of that, we always want to try and increase the number of, let's say, IBAN or payment services accounts that we can open. And as a B2B, or as a cross-border business, these companies in Europe, like you said, it's not the easiest job in the world to open a dirham account here in the UAE. These companies in Europe need to be able to access that market to get paid from Amazon. So that's why just now the dirham account is open for any entity that isn't registered in the UAE. So any global entity in Europe, like you said, in the UK and the US, because they need to have access to that market. Local UAE companies already have access to dirham accounts, and we help them the opposite way when they need access to European accounts.
So now no more borders. You can just get started, of course. I'm happy to say that a lot of people actually reach out to me and mistakenly think in the beginning, because now it's a reality, but in the beginning they used to think Payoneer was a type of payment gateway where you would add it onto your website and then you would be able to sell a product and get paid. So I always used to say, no, it's not a payment gateway. Payoneer is like, just think about it as an online bank. That's what I used to say. But now we actually do have a Payoneer checkout system, which does operate like a payment gateway. So tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, and it still happens to this day. The only benefit is now, like you said, we actually have a product that we can offer. But I think the crux of it came from the fact that a lot of our customers, a huge proportion of them, are in the e-commerce business. And once, you'll know better than anyone, once companies get so big in marketplaces, they do want to migrate into their own web store, build a brand around their own companies, etc. And to do that, they need a payment gateway. And we have always looked after those companies on a B2B perspective. But B2C is a different market. And the idea behind it was, if we have a B2C payment gateway product, then our customers can have a one full solution for everything. So receiving from marketplaces, paying suppliers, receiving from individuals on the B2C side through their web store, paying online advertising costs with their cards, withdrawing to their local bank in whatever currency that may be, and the list goes on and on. So it was just kind of finishing off the whole product suite. But yeah, it's very similar to a lot of payment gateways out there. Like we said before we started, it's a product that a lot of people maybe don't understand and need to know the bits behind it in terms of the tech side. But it's just there to allow our customers to open up their own web stores, have their own websites, and then sell directly to their customers rather than via a marketplace, etc.
I have a final question, but before I continue, I just want everyone to know all of the links, everything that we're talking about. If you want to open a Payoneer account, if you want to check out the Payoneer checkout system, all of that, I will leave every single link in the description box of the video so that you can have some more information. One last thing, Mark, is that a lot of people wonder, well, okay, if I don't have to pay any money, because there are a lot of similar solutions where you need to pay like a monthly subscription in order to use it. Nothing like that for Payoneer. How does Payoneer charge me, and how much money does Payoneer take? So basically, how is the business making money in order to provide all of these services?
Yeah, we don't charge upfront fees, and I think the big reason behind that is because we have to show value first before we can charge anything. Where we make our money comes from multiple ways. One of the main ones is if you sell in other countries, you're going to be converting currency back to your local country, and you have to do that through a foreign exchange transaction. And we do that, and we charge a small spread on top of the foreign exchange transaction, just like any other bank or financial services company would do as well. Through our card products, a lot of those products, if you're using dollar balance and you're paying in dollars, for example, that's free for our customers. And the way that we make money is in the merchant side of things, which we won't need to get into, but it's not a charge to our customers. A lot of it comes down to just charges on transactions that are made within the account. So there's no upfront fees, and it all really stems down to volume. Customers that typically do more volume typically have cheaper charging structures, as I'm sure everyone can imagine.
Yeah. So last thing, Mark, because you work with a lot of companies, a lot of businesses, multiple sizes, especially in the market here in the Middle East and primarily in the UAE. How do you see the state of e-commerce for anyone that's thinking about it? Is it really a good market for me to get started in, or even to move into if you're a UK-based business or a European-based business? How do you see the state of what is happening with the current customers and businesses that you work with when it comes to e-commerce?
From what I've seen in the market this market is growing extremely a lot in the last 4 years. I've been in Dubai for about 4.5 years, and back then it was Souk before it was Amazon. And since that's happened, you then have Amazon in Saudi, Egypt, etc., and everything's really starting to take off. And it really is a market that I think during COVID did extremely well, and post-COVID. And I genuinely believe that it's a very, very strong market for e-commerce in general, and also international business, because it is such a hub globally in terms of trade and everything else as well.
Perfect. You heard it first. So I'll leave all of the links, including Mark's email, if you want to reach out to him, in the description box of this video. Thank you so much, Mark, for your time. Thanks.